Well, we've talked a fair bit about the academy now. We might go back to that in a little bit, but we're going to talk about the future now, Jace, if that's all right with you.
You've announced 2 shows in early July for the Reach comeback, one of which, the Plymouth show, sold out in under 4 days. Are you happy that your anniversary show will be in front of a very limited number of people?
Firstly, let's not brush over that. Sold out in 4 days. Like, how amazing is that? That's pretty cool, right? Like, that was a huge pick me up for me to see that.
Sell that quickly?
No.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing. Again, we'll go back to that word, self-belief. We've got a lot of self-belief and in our product, in Reach, but you never really know after a year away how are people gonna feel. I mean, they do still care or not? You know what I mean? Like you could have all easily have just gone, I've had a year off, I'll do something else now. Like, wrestling was fun, but I'll do something else. You don't really know what's going to happen. Now, we announced a first time ever PJ and Joey, and I thought that really, without going another bloody rant, I think that's a fantastic contest, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a great match.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think for a first time ever, like, debut on Exeter, Joey versus, I'm excited. And I'm another wrestler. I'm not even a fan. Like, I booked the match, but I'm just like, that's a good one. And then, of course, you know, we come full circle. Eddie, what might be full circle, we'll see. Between Eddie, who you love, obviously, and Charlie, who I like. So we, you know, in Exeter. So that'll be quite exciting. You know, a heavyweight title match is massive. It's as big as it gets. Those were the 2 we announced before we put the tickets on sale. And I was just thinking to myself, well, it don't really get any better than this. So I hope I hope people care. I hope they still want to see it. And yeah, they sold out.
I know for a fact the front row in Plymouth sold out within about 10 minutes, isn't it?
7 minutes.
7 minutes in the end,
yeah. And like, it made me think. I mean, we wanted a bigger venue. Obviously, I'm looking again, that relentless work ethic. I'm looking, believe me, I'm trying to get something done. But the best we could do was the Williams side, which is in a way, you know what, it's good enough. It's our return show. It's our 3rd anniversary. All the more reason to be there. Just because there's 8
shows, isn't it?
What's that, mate?
Well, you've had your academy shows in the past, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. So it's a more of an intimate setting. But the way I see it is, whether it's 80 people or 8,000 people, we're not going to perform any different. No. It's still Reach Wrestling. It's still our 3rd anniversary show. So we the level that we put into that will be just as big as if we're at bloody Wembley. Nothing changes. No performer's going to dial it in and say, oh, I'll have a night off because there's only... All the more reason for someone to have got their tickets, because now a load of people are going to miss that show. And it's like, well, you should have got your tickets even quicker. You had 4 days or 3.5 days, right? Like, it's on one side, yeah, could have done with a bigger venue. On the next side, he gives it, you know, who cares? Let's just go out and we get to wrestle again. We get to perform again. We get to give you Reach again live. Yeah. And I think that it's grateful for Small Mercies.
It's also been noted, like Jason, that you've announced a date for Tavistock. I think it's October.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's October or November, and yet no return to the School of Performing Arts in Plymouth. Are you going to announce one eventually for there, or is
I hope that we can go back. So that, yeah, people might wonder what's going on there. It's really simple. The whole building itself needed new structural work done. Now, we got told this, just for example, like it was a Monday afternoon, I got a message saying, listen, we need to talk. There's a parent company had taken over a lot of the schools in the country. And funny enough, that was called Reach, actually. It's quite funny. And I think on the Monday night, I got a message. And I think I was busy the Tuesday, but I said, yeah, let's talk Wednesday. And I got another message Wednesday saying, I'm just getting the final details. I think there's something needs to be done to the building. And then on the Thursday, I got a call from the chap we deal with, Mick, from that venue, and he gave me the bad news, which was that they're having structural work done. So they're taking out all live performances up until, he said at the time, September. And I thought, 6 months. So I thought, oh, that's not so bad. I thought, it's a bit annoying, but never mind, eh? And then he said September 2022. And I was like, oh. So that was just not ideal for us, because that's like our home venue. And I love that venue. And it's a great night. Yeah, that's our home, you know. And it was really, really not ideal to lose that venue. But the thing was, we didn't lose it for anything we did wrong. And sometimes those setbacks are what make us we have to bounce back. We just said, okay, well, we got to work with that. And the tough thing was that during the pandemic, it's much harder to get new venues during the pandemic because nobody wants to talk about live performances and live shows and cramming 300 people into a hall, because the last thing they're thinking when COVID's on is, oh yeah, let's stick 300 people in, put a live performance on. So the delay in getting a different venue is due to the pandemic. So although we spoke earlier about our growth in the pandemic and the things we're able to achieve, there's obviously setbacks as well that I have to work with and deal with. And like, no matter how many emails and phone calls I make and send, it doesn't make them move any quicker while there's a pandemic on. So there's nothing I can do. Just bang me against a bloody wall. Like I can't send another email that I haven't already bloody sent. Any chance of a callback, let's discuss. Like, so we will hopefully, fingers are absolutely crossed, to go back there, because that's where we want to run and play.
Centre until so that gets back online again.
What's that mean?
Are you happy to use where we're going for the 3rd anniversary show for any other Plymouth shows until you maybe get back to the School of Performing Arts in 2022?
Yeah, so I would look for another. I've got another venue that I'm trying to do. We've got a couple of them that aren't as big as we thought. We tried I think it's called the Devonport Guildhall. That one looked pretty big from the outside, but on the inside it wasn't quite the right size, too small. So we obviously you've got the Guildhall, but that's quite a jump for us from where we are to where we want to be. We nearly got there before, but I think we probably need. There is another building I've contacted, so I'm waiting for a response, which I'm assuming will come probably after April the 12th when they're open again. I'm hoping to get something just a bit bigger than the School of Creative Arts, more like a 300-400 seater. And our next goal is to try and fill something like that, which will be good. And I think from there, we can look at like Guildhall, and of course we've got that really big venue in Plymouth, the Pavilion. So one day, but.
You've also got just outside is Tavistock, the Synagogue. That's a fantastic venue, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
What a great building.
Yeah.
What do you think of that building?
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
It's like proper posh, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Posh. I like that one. I really like that building. I think that's perfect size. I know it's a town hall, and I like some of these town halls are really nice because I know we've got like the Guildhall in Plymouth, but it doesn't have the same feel that Tavistock has. Tavistock's got quite a nice like a homely feel almost. Yeah, look, there you go. Great word. Well done. a lot of character to the building. Yeah, I like Tavistock. I'm glad we got that one. A lot of these venues, I have to say, remember Pro Wrestling Pride? A lot of these venues are all just old venues those guys used. And so they did some good after all, because some of the venues they used. When I would speak to Josh Knott, Country Big, I'd say to him like, "What venues did you wrestle at?" And he'd tell me some good ones and some not so good ones, and I just kind of look through and have a little nose around what was what, and some of them, like the Tavistock one, we were able to say, yeah, that's one that we'd like. And Tavistock's a new town; it's not too far out of the way. Yeah, I like that venue. Yeah, it's a nice one.
It's Grayson's own town, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So we've got quite a few of them. Who's it? Grayson. Who's the other one? Joey Seven.
Yeah.
I sure there was one more. Who's the other one from Tavistock? I should know, really, shouldn't I? Grayson. Or maybe it's just those two. I'm sure we had another guy who was from Tavistock. But Grayson and Joey, it's their hometown, so that's probably a good sign of like things to come.
Tavistock's a hotbed for Southwest wrestling, isn't it? Really?
Well, it's got some good talent. Yeah, they pulled two good guys out of Tavistock. So to find two sort of diamonds in a whole lot of rough ain't bad going, is it? So.
So I'm excited about coming home to Wrestling Exeter on the 5th of July, 3rd of July.
3rd of July, yeah. Am I excited?
How excited are you? Yeah.
Do you know, like, I did a show for UPW. It was me and Joey in one of his first matches.
That's right, yeah.
Against the Brothers All. That was a fun day. That was
Dropped you, yeah.
Yeah. Who did?
Me.
Oh, what's the why am I?
I refused, by the way.
Oh, it was so much fun.
I refused to do it.
Well, thank you, Dave, firstly. And Kirsty, see, this is earlier on in the conversation, we were like, I've done nothing wrong. You just admitted chopping me.
It was warranted.
Okay, well, there we go. So I got chopped. One guy, I remember, it's a funny story. One guy, like, everyone was hitting me and chopping me, and I was like, no, don't you dare. And one guy looks at me, and I swear to God, he looked like a deer in the headlights, and he goes, "I'm sorry, I love you." I was like, what? And he chopped me. I was like, son of a
He thought it was HBK, didn't he?
Yeah, literally. He's like, I'm sorry, man, I love you. And he hit me. And I was like, what the hell? It's just like stuff like that sticks in your head. And you think, you don't love me that much, yeah.
It's probably Terry.
But yeah, that was like, but that one was a real big day for me because it was Joey obviously was like, I think it was his second match or third match at the time. So teaming up with him was good because Grayson got injured. That's a really good time for the storytelling. The story we were building, me and Grayson against TBA, I thought was really good, and I really liked, because those two are good as gold, they're good lads now, and that was I thought us as heels and them as baby faces, I thought we got somebody in, and I really thought this is gonna. I was hoping that what Mark, he's brought in some tag titles now. I saw the other day, Mark. It's a bit late because it would have been an ideal time, but I mean, as luck would have it, it wasn't me and Grayson, it was me and Joey. But if it had built to me and Grayson versus TBA for like I mean, TBA are like I always think of them as like the UPW boys. So in the end, a nice blow off match, like some bloody hardcore match or something like that, where they were the first like UPW tag team champions. I thought that would have been massive. You know, if we'd have stacked the deck against them and really, like, we ran in from nowhere that show and attacked them. I mean, that one was excellent. You guys were not happy. I was in that ring and I was like, oh, they're not happy with us.
Yeah. But I think UPW acquired the tag team belts when they took over Big League.
That's right.
And
good for them.
So yeah, they're lovely looking belts as well, you know. So
they look very professional. Yeah, Lewis always did like spent his money.
Yeah, that's for certain.
What who's going to win them? Has he announced anything? What do we think?
There's going to be a tournament
because they started a tournament before the pandemic hit.
Yeah,
I think we had like one or two matches.
One team, one of that.
One
American
team.
Yeah.
No, they were from New Zealand.
Well, New Zealand, they're foreign anyway.
Oh, they're foreign.
I don't sound like a little England, do I?
Yeah. So who's like? Because I just again TBA for me, for what they are two good lads and they're bloody popular. Like they're very popular.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah.
And I enjoy wrestling them. I have to be honest. I had a good time. I think of those two as like I don't know. You know, like you think of some people as like the Reach guys, or maybe they're like the I don't know, whatever companies like UPW guys or whatever. Like I think of them as like UPW, like core UPW. Do you know what I mean? When I think UPW, I think guys like those two, and I think they've done a good job really over the years of staying very popular. They're very popular on the internet, and like they're very relevant, and like I think they post a lot of funny stuff. They're very true to themselves, I have to say. Yeah,
they are nice guys. They're genuinely nice guys as well, aren't they?
And they're so positive as well. It's just really nice.
Well, they're like positive, Jason. That's
That's it. I remember doing some stuff with them, like filming a promo, and when you're creative and somebody else is creative and you're kind of on the same wavelength, things just flow really nice. And we were talking about a promo we did one time about how we would little things we would come up with. Like one time we were doing this promo and I remember like little touches we were talking about, and I said to one of them, I was like, when I come in I'll grab your scarf and just like sort of say like, what's this shit, like without saying it, right? And then he said then I'll like grab your tie and like do the same thing, and then at the end of it I remember like I think either Grayson or one of them was eating like a pasty, and like at the end, like I think that they got the end line or something because we were like coming really cocky, and they got the finishing line. I think Grayson was about to eat a pasty. The guy like pulls out his hand, like bites the pasty as he's walking off. Like little things, like it's little stuff like that where like as we're putting it together, we had such a good time. Like just putting it together was fun, and you know, and that's the stuff I love with wrestling. I just love when you get someone else that's creative and a promoter that kind of gives you a little bit of free roam and trusts you as a performer to say, let's build a story so we can invest people. I want people to be invested. What's the point if no one cares? You know what I mean? So they're good lads to do that with.
How much creative freedom did you give Beauty and the Beast then to develop their roles? Because you brought them together at Reach, weren't you? That team is taken off in Reach. It's so popular now.
It's golden.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you asked me that, right? Because so let's just those two came together, right? The idea was to have Lance wrestle Phil, just as like a little thing where Lance is real good at playing the chicken shit, and I got to give Lance some credit at the moment. He's one of my favorite guys in all of wrestling, and the reason is because as a promoter, I got 1,000 things to do. If I go up to Lance and say, right, this is what I want for the match, Lance, I need this, I can trust him to go away and do pretty much exactly what I ask. His reliability is so valuable to me that I can just say to him, this is exactly what I need. Please go and put something together. What he did with Lucian the way that he was able to make Lucian look so strong. So in a lot of their matches they had, and the promos Lance would do, in the way that he would constantly be running, he'd stand and fight, but like any good heel, he's a chicken shit in the same breath. Like, he just was fantastic. Lucian played his part perfectly good, but I'm going to give Lance some real credit, because he made us start thinking, there's more in this than there is just these two. And I think it was TNR or something like there was like, so we decided it was PJ was getting punished or whatever the story was. So he had to fight Lucian. I think Lance came out and attacked Lucian or something, because just before that we decided, I don't want it to end with Lucian and Lance yet. Let's do a bit more with them. Like, I think we teamed them up. Like, we decided, let's make them a team, but like reluctant team. And that whole captain's armband thing, and the promo shots we've seen, that was their doing. Like, I didn't say to them, like, I really want this and this. We told them the dynamic we wanted, obviously, but they came up with finishes where Lucian would punch Lance in the face, and like Lance would fall backwards and get the pin, and then Lucian would put him on his shoulder and carry him to the back. Yeah, and like we didn't tell them to do that stuff, so but that was just exactly what. Yeah, like. What did you think of that stuff? Like, what do you think of that?
I love it.
I think the old crowd loved it as well. I think they, they booed him at first, but now everybody's taken them to their hearts now.
Yeah,
What you say about promo pictures, and that picture of Lance pointing to the captain's armband as Lucian flipping him the bird in the background.
There you go.
I would say though, going back to promo pics of all your wrestlers, you've got the best promo pics in the country. Again,
someone else I can put over. I'm so glad I get to do these interviews, because I get to put so many good people over. We got Rick Smith.
Yeah.
And again, talk about who the best is and all that. And you nearly often talk about who the best wrestler, who the best company. And the reason I do this is because we get to a point, Reach, where if we're not the top, we're not far off with a lot of our things. We might not be, say we're not the best company, fine, but we're one of them. And if we're not the best training school, we're one of them. And our photographer, if he's not the best in the bloody country, then he's one of them. Because Rick Smith, he comes to me, he'll drop me a message, right? Every time he dropped me a message, I've got some new kit. And I'm like, oh, here he goes again. And I don't have to give him any direction. He knows exactly what I want, because he knows me as a person. He knows exactly what I'm looking for. If I suggest to him something simple as, I just need him to look a little bit more, like, I want him, like, to say angry, I'm just like, a little more, and he'll go, leave it with me. Right, and he come up with like some magic. He's done some promo shots for me where he's gone to me. He said to me, "There's this one he did to me where I was like throwing a packet of cards," and he told me for months. He said, "Mate, I can't wait to get this shot of you. I can't wait." And all those smoke ones he did, it was all his doing. Every single one is different, and I'm not going to give away a secret, but every single one is different. And he's so bloody creative. And his passion, he wants to do it. Like he wants to be involved, and he's told me already, I'll book those weekends off. He said, as soon as you get a Reach show, tell me, and I'm there. He did this playing card one for me where he makes me hold one card in my hand, but then he told me to throw up the whole pack of cards in the air, right? And he took this shot, and we did it like 3 times. And he looked at it, he goes, "Yeah, this will be enough." I was like, "You sure?" He said, "Trust me." He sent me this promo shot and nearly cried. Like I'd never seen anything like it in my life, because I was like, that's me in that picture. I was just like, how is that me? He just has this way of creating almost like superhero images of people, like every time. And it's like, you look at it and you're like, that's not Superman, that's you. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's astronomical quality. He spends a lot of money on his kit. He's very professional, and he just loves it. He just loves being involved. A new person debuts, and he's like, "God, I haven't got their shots yet." Like he's like a model employee, right? I don't have to chase him saying, "Come on, I need 3 more shots of this guy before 5 o'clock." He's there, like he's there. He's telling me, "I've set up this and this. I got 5 of this guy, 5 of that guy." And I'm just like, perfect. Like. It's an organization of good people that want to give back and want to make something better, something more special. Yeah, he's very good. He's very good.
Just now, those promo shots are the best in the country, I would say, by Mar.
Thank you. That's really kind, and that is a testament to I guess us wanting a good photographer, and Rick being as good as Rick is. So most of the credit's got to go to Rick. Again, I could sit here and ha, look at me, I booked a good photographer.
Yeah.
But it's not about me. It's that's his work, and all the credit to him, and thanks to him for helping. Because if they're promo shots for Reach and ours look the best, then as an organization, that makes us.
Yeah. But I mean, just like wrestlers have got little group chats where you all talk to, fans have got those group chats as well. And every time some of those photoshops, there's groups going, wow, you know, and look at that one, look at this one, you know, and we're amazed by him.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Really, how he can take some people and just make them look like, I mean, me. I'll use me as an example. How he can make me look, and I look at the photos and I think, I don't look like that. I'm like, it's not me. But it's astronomical quality. You know, the things he can do with a camera.
Have you asked him to take a picture of your Tinder profile, have you?
Very good.
And on a personal note, looking ahead, do you have any concrete plans to wrestle for other promotions in the next couple of years?
When you started that, but on a personal note, I thought, here we go. But I honestly thought you were going to say something like, on a personal note, I don't like this. And I thought, oh. So do I have plans to wrestle for other promotions? So I always enjoy, so there are a few companies, like I'll always work for WAW if he asks, because I like Ricky and the Knight family, good friends of mine. So I'll always work for those guys. UPW, I always try to make time for. Who else do I work for? Fightstar, I don't work for them anymore. There's a few of them that I've worked for over the years. Down here in Devon, I don't do DWA anymore now that UK Dominator's retired. He's my friend. So there is another one opening up again real soon, but I can't give it away. It's not my private place, but that's will be good. So I will and I do, but I'm really lazy is not a word one would associate with me, but I'm very lazy at putting myself out there for other companies to, you know, I don't just sit there and go, hi, book me because I'm Jason King. It don't work like that. You've got to put effort into putting yourself out there, sending CVs to promoters that don't know who you are. And you've got to do this to get your name out there on your face and all that sort of stuff. I just am so busy and I've got 42 students that I want to promote. So it's very, very hard for me then to, on top of all that, and top of having to train as well and all the things I do for Reach, to then stop and say, okay, right, time to write up a wrestling CV, to travel 300 miles up the road, to go and wrestle in front of 30 people, a crowd that doesn't know me, doesn't even care that I'm there, you know, just, you know, for X amount of pounds, because then it becomes the money. I say, to do all that, I want X amount of pounds, right, that's how I'll do it. And then I think to myself, well, now you're only doing that for the money. And I can't do this for the money. I can't wrestle for the money. You have to enjoy it for what it is. If they say we'd like to book you, so we had a deal with a guy in Nottingham. He was going to book a few of our guys and girls, and I was really excited for that on New Year's Eve. Then he turned out to be a bit of a naughty boy, and so that all went to pot before it even started. But I would agree to do that because he also agreed to book 4 or 5 of our guys and girls from the school as well. So I said, okay, if you're going to book 4 or 5 of them, then I'll come to work for you because they get the experience too. I think if I'll always listen when I get contact, and I still get companies contact me, which is nice, it's flattering, to say, do I want to go to work for them? But I always sort of say to myself, in the nicest way, like, what's the benefit now? If they said to me, I really need a guy, just for example, I really need a baddie to make my champion, who's a goodie, look really impressive in the ring, and you're the right guy, or whatever, I'd say, okay, fine, let's build a story, because maybe I'd find it interesting. But if it's just, please travel 300 miles, you know, on a Sunday night to come wrestle for me, I say, is it, you know, an important match? Not really, no. And I say, all right, well, what's the story? They go, there isn't really one. And I go, right, you just want me to have a random match in front of a crowd that doesn't know me. Now, my job would be to get over in front of that crowd and do my very best for the promoter that's paid me to be there. But a lot of the time, I'm like, that 300-mile trip I'm taking, I need to take some of my guys or girls with me.
Yeah.
Because that's my goal now, is to give them something, to give them opportunities. So it's I got offered a booking in Italy, which is quite nice. And I said, yeah, okay. I said, yeah, I'll come over. It was the weekend after. I said, I can do it. And then I messaged Jordan. I said, do you want to go to Italy? And he's like, I said, seriously, do you want to go to Italy next weekend? And he's like, why? I said, well, someone offered me a wrestling booking. And then I kind of said, like, look, I told him, I said, if you can come to Italy, if you can get the time off, we'll go over there, the 2 of us. I'll work forget them, you know, nothing. I didn't care. Something, but not a lot, right? And I said to him, the X that they were going to give me, that amount, I'll give to you, so that we both made some money. And, you know, if they agree to book you too. So I told the guy, I'll bring a second person over, so I don't have to travel to Italy by myself. And that way you got a tag team of guys. And I set the promo shot and said, this is what we both look like, both in shape, both professional, yeah. In the end, the pandemic didn't allow us to travel to Italy, so I couldn't go. So if there wasn't a pandemic on, I would happily gone to Italy, yeah. But Italy with one of my students, so that they could gain something from it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. You can understand that. It's all about putting your other people over now, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, like I don't want to sound arrogant, but I know I'm a pretty good performer, and I know that hopefully people still want to see me perform. So assuming that they do, there will be times when people don't want my students and they just want me, and they'll say, well, no, I've seen you perform, you're the right guy for this or that, and then it's a choice of, do I want to go to work there or don't I want to go to work there? And that's, I still need to be out there and still need to make connections with promoters. So like I said, places like WAW, I'll always go to work, and I like to work for UPW because I like Mark, and he always gives me free roam to be Jason King, I guess.
Mark,
so I always like working with
him.
Yeah.
Mark's a genuine guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I do like Mark. He's a mate. Like I could go to watch. I always ask him before I come to one of his shows, and I'm not booked. I don't really go to other wrestling shows, not really. And if I do, it will usually be a UPW show because I quite like that, and I like the guys he books. But I'll always message him first, saying, "Do you mind if I pop up?" But I like to check because I don't like to just turn up and walk through the door. Like, I don't like to do that. So despite how it might look, like when I'm walking around, I don't actually tend to just like walking like I'm the big I am. Like, that's not actually what I do. But I always ask him, if it's all right, and he's good as gold. He says, yeah, of course, come up. And I always have a good chat with him and ask him like if things are going out, like, because I like being around the wrestling, and I like being around people that care. Plus, I like seeing you guys when you're like, I like seeing what you react to, and I like being part of the energy when something good happens in the ring, or when something bad happens in the ring. I like being around it. I just like the feeling. So I'll always, long-winded answer as always for me to your question. Yeah, I'll always entertain a booking if because I would say to the promoter, look, do you really want me? Not because I don't believe in myself, because obviously I'm super arrogant and everything. It's just more, I'm like, well, okay, can we make it work a different way? Like, I'll work for way less money, and just, can you bring some of these guys in? See if they can get something, see if they can get over with the audience. Just, that's the kind of where I'm at, I think, I love to perform, but if I want a match, I can always book it for Reach, can't I? So if there's someone I want to wrestle. So.
Yeah, true. Like I said earlier, the Reach Academy is getting recognised as being one of the best in the country, if not the best. But with speaking out recently and the imprisonment of a trainer for assault recently, what would you say to aspiring young wrestlers and even their parents to assuage any concerns that wrestling is safe to be trained at Reach?
Yeah, very good question. So I've got to be a bit careful how I answer it, because I understand it's a sensitive topic. So I'm not always the best with how I word things, so you're gonna have to forgive me if it comes across the wrong way, but I'll try to answer it the way that I know how, if that makes sense. Simply put, the speaking out movement, I think, all in all, was a disgrace. And I don't mean the movement was a disgrace. I mean the idea that this had to occur. It was honestly mind-blowing to me, like mind-blowing, that you hear stories, right, about certain things and whatever in the locker rooms, but it's almost always a oh, but that's an old tale, to realize that some of these stories were a real life reality, like a genuine reality in our business that I really, I don't want to swear, but that I really do love. To know that, to understand that, wait, no, this isn't like just old wives' tales. This is really happening up in that company up there, and that company over there, and that company there. I was saying, wait a minute, what? Like real life? Men are doing this, or even women are doing this to people? And I couldn't. Initially, I was very surprised, very surprised. As I thought it out, I said to myself, okay, you get these guys fake fighting in the pants for adulation from people, and they're probably deeply insecure. A lot of people you meet in professional wrestling, I'm going to pull back a little curtain here, a little bit insecure, quite a lot insecure, a lot of them. When they get a little bit of status, some people, when they get this little bit of status that makes them a wrestler now, they believe their own hype because they've got a few Twitter followers or social media followers, and suddenly they think it's acceptable to get away with things that is not acceptable to get away with. Being a piece of shit, right, is fundamentally a mistake you make long before you become a wrestler.
Mhm.
If you are a bad person, if you are a coward or whatever, if you are just a vile human being, then you're a vile human being, full stop. All right. They've got no place anywhere, as far as I'm concerned, especially not in our business, especially. Now, it was really hard to accept some of the things I heard because I just couldn't, I was seeing screenshots and all sorts of things, and I couldn't believe this was real.
Mm.
The fact it was real has highlighted a serious problem. Now, the good news, the strength of these people that were affected is admirable, and it makes me feel good for them, because I say you're stronger than you realize because you were able to speak out. So anybody that hurt you or harmed you can't hurt you no more. And your strength is what showed. Maybe you don't realize how strong you were until you spoke out. And I think that's admirable, and that is excellent. I think it's really excellent. In our company, Reach, I can tell you fundamentally, right, from the day dot, that stuff does not happen here, right? Now, I run this company. Two of us run this company. All right, there's two of us that run this company, me and Grayson. We have a safeguarding policy that's on our website now. Rule number one in our school, in our training school, in our company is no lies. Rule number, it's known for everyone that trains at our school. Rule number one is no lies. We don't lie. I teach that from day one. No lies in our school. We don't tell lies to anybody about anything. We just don't lie to each other. If somebody was in danger or somebody was in trouble, they're quite aware. The first person to tell is me. All right, they would, and they are safe to do so. They're safe in a safe environment, have a personal conversation, and that people have before, not necessarily about the speaking out movement, but anything that's, that needs to be addressed gets addressed. The reason it gets addressed is very simple, because as a decent human being, you absolutely fundamentally would not tolerate the kind of things that I heard that go on.
Yeah. You
just should not tolerate them, full stop. Long before speaking out movement, long before anybody being abused or harmed or it's unfathomable that these things even occur, and not just in locker rooms, but in training schools. Coaches taking like their own egos, allow them to believe that they've got some kind of control or power because they teach wrestling. We don't do that here. We don't, I can't be any more clear. I mean, we've got a policy on our website, and you can read it, and anybody can quote bits to me on the Twitter and try and call me out and catch me out. But I can tell you now that behavior does not occur where we train, where we teach. We have our DBS checks, all three coaches, to make sure that, which we've done recently, is brought back our children's class. We have a procedure in place if somebody needs to talk, if there's an issue. It was there, and we didn't have to shout about it. We didn't have to shout, oh, this is our policy, this is our bloody procedure, like some people did, as though they were jumping on a bandwagon to get some kind of reward. You don't get rewarded for doing the right things. That's the very minimum. That's the very minimum you should have done. Absolutely. So shame on anybody. And I saw them do it too. So I don't want to get hot at anybody, but I saw companies going out and saying, hey, this is our policy, like it was some kind of reward. Shame on you for putting it out there on your social medias like you did somebody a great service. The minimum you should have done was protected these people in the first place. That's the minimum you should have done. And I'm not angry at YouTube, but I just, to hear this stuff happens in our business, and we have men and women, young, men and women, and of all ages, of all different, we all struggle in different ways, and they train at our school. The thought that somebody would suffer, where I coached, I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't get up each day, look in the mirror, and know that I had let that happen. It does not occur, whatever you need me to write, if someone came to the school and said, I need to see a policy, I'll give them the policy. They can sit down and talk to me for 2 minutes. They're going to know they're in safe hands. we don't do that here. Fundamentally, that does not occur. And it's got nothing to do with professional wrestling. People can put it down to wrestling. It is down to the way you were raised as a human being and the way you treat people. And a lot of these people got caught up in their own hype, all their Twitter followers. What a stupid thing. They got a few Twitter followers, or they started a wrestling school. You become a wrestling coach because you want to help people, not because you want to. abuse your power, or you want to beat up some student that blows a spot, or you want to look cool in front of the opposite sex. What a stupid thing to suggest. We don't do that. We don't teach wrestling for those reasons.
Yeah.
Get over yourself and let your ego go. Have an ego when you're performing. Perform, and if you let your ego out, maybe you'll be a better performer. But not outside the ring. God, man, sorry. That's a real.
If I was 35 years younger, I'd be quite happy to come and join you at your training school. You know, but
you'd be safe. You will. Everybody is safe.
Yeah,
There's no. We don't do that here. It's just. I don't know how else to word it. We don't do that here. That does not occur. You know, and it's disgraceful. Let's put it down to what it is. But it's disgraceful in the places where it happened.
Yeah.
And that it happened is disgraceful. But again, I'm going to talk about this great badge, this symbol that's real close to my heart, literally. We are not about that business. We are. Some of my students, you ever interview one of my students, they'll tell you there's certain lines I use all the time. One that they'll always hear me say is professional first, wrestler second. Professional first means handle your business professionally. That's why the beginners in the fundamental class have all got to come through me. Before they get to train with Eddie and they get to train with Grace and do the fun stuff, they got to listen to me go on. And that ain't fun for nobody, because I talk for Britain. And when I'm angry, I'm not pleasant to be around either. But I never have a go at them if they blow a spot in the ring. I don't care. You made a mistake, you all make them. I broke Doug Williams' nose with Ebba. Come on, we all make mistakes. Where they'll get me barking at them is if they do something that I would describe as unprofessional. Never, of course, to the length that some of the things we've seen elsewhere, but little things that I don't want to give you examples, but there's little things they might do that I have to put them aside and say, don't do that again, or whatever it is. That's why we don't have these situations, is because we've got a somebody like me, well, not someone like me, it is me, that makes sure from day one you learn how we do things at Reach. And if you can't get by the book and do things the way we teach, you don't last. We've had to ask people. Well, we've never asked anybody to leave, but we have had people that couldn't toe the line and have had to leave. You know, we've had that. Like a few people that just sort of fallen by the wayside and don't get mentioned again because they couldn't get in line like everybody else could. And that's just how things need to be. They need to be a certain standard, a certain quality, and a certain level of professionalism. People treat wrestling like it's a circus. We're a business the same as anybody else. I get paid the same as anyone else in their day job. It's no different. I think that it's a crying shame it got highlighted that such a thing like that existed. But I'm so glad that we got past it, and that these companies and these people now, they're in trouble. We saw a chap the other day who I've worked for just been sent to prison, and I saw a picture of what he did to this guy's face. You know, I won't say I wish he'd tried it with one of my guys, but he wouldn't have tried it with one of my guys because you wouldn't have got away with that. You just wouldn't. This is exactly what I'm talking about. He runs the show. So now he's the big cheese or whatever he thinks. How embarrassing is that? How cringy is that? That this guy's like puffing his chest out when he's walking around, acting like he's the man. And then he goes and does that. And I just think, you know, he'll pay the price now. He'll pay the price, you know. And I just hope the laddie's kicked it.
Finished anyway, didn't he? So. Gotta be, isn't they?
Yeah.
Well, like a lot of these speaking out guys, they're all finished now, aren't they? So
yeah.
But what I will say about the Reach Academy, and it's noticeable, all the fans notice it, is that you've got a great all the academy wrestlers. There's a great camaraderie there, and they all want each other to succeed.
You know, we that's yes. I love it. They're like my kids, right? I'm like the dad, right? So when you say this stuff, it's like you're a teacher telling me my kids just got an A in the test.
Yeah.
When you say this stuff, I just feel so good because, again, the time, effort, and energy we've put into building something like this, and watching these guys come from nothing to something, is really, really cool because they're all so giving to each other. Like, they don't just do that for the camera. That's real. Like, I'll give you an example. If you break one of our rules in the training school, if it's like a minor discretion, you're all made to run. Now, running is fine, except you got to run like 150 meters up the hill and 150 meters down the hill. And so it's a 300-meter run, which ain't too bad unless it's really, really cold in December. The wind's cold and you've just been bouncing around the ring for 10, 20 minutes and suddenly you got to go running. It's not pleasant on your lungs and you're feeling crappy and you're beat up and it starts raining. I'll still make you run. I don't care. No one's ever gets but it's raining. We don't do that, right? You still run. Now, not everybody has to run for certain mistakes, but I guarantee you, when a mistake is made, everybody runs. Because if somebody messes up something, what one of the more senior people tends to do, if that person needs it, is grabs them and says, "Oi, get this right," you know, whatever. Or if it's someone that needs a little bit more TLC, you'll usually get someone come along and say, "Come on, mate, you know, this is what you need to be saying. This, not this. Let's do this, not that." And they all feel like they're part of the same team, even if it's them against me and Grayson. I don't care. If they look at us like the big bad wolf, fine, because they're a team, they're a family. And if they, I kill these people with cardio and conditioning drills. You ask them. I take great pride in asking them to quit. I whisper in their ear, "Just quit." I mean, I've said all sorts to them, male and female, and I don't mean like that. I mean like to make them quit. Like I've told them like all sorts of things to get them to quit, and you know, someone will come up, "Shut the fuck up! Don't ignore him, ignore him." I'm like, "Oh, here we go again." Like, and at the end of it, when they didn't quit, they can look at me like, I'll be always like, you know, like you didn't beat me, and they're high-fiving each other. You know, they're high-fiving each other, and I see people go up to each other. "You did good, you know, ignore him. He's whatever they want to call me at that time of day. He's this and isn't like, you know, F him or whatever the fuck." Like, and I love seeing that. I mean, they got to know I see it. Like, I see everything. But even if they don't think I've seen it, I think, okay, fine. We're building camaraderie there. It's a bit like the military, really. Like, you're just building that like brotherhood and sisterhood and that family feel. And I think that's important because everybody understands the growth is for the brand. And the brand isn't just for Jason. It's not just Jason's brand. Oh, it's Jason's. It's not me. And it's not Grayson's brand. It's not, oh, look at Jason and Grayson. It's not about us. If it was, it would be called Jason and Grayson's Wrestling. It's not called that. It's called Reach. It's for everybody. We didn't even want people to know we run the company. Like, we didn't want people to know. So it's the growth is for everybody. And I think when we see them act like you're saying, you know, like show day, they put a ring up now, like they tell me off because like I'll go in and I say, "Why is no one doing that?" And someone will shout like, "It's effing being done, get out of the way." I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I'm only the boss. What do I know?" You know, so like I'm just like, "Okay, cool." And you know, they get that ring up 20 minutes, you know, like just a group of women, and it's that camaraderie, and it's special, man. I hope and probably think that in years to come, people are going to look back if Reach is still there. I hope in years to come, people will look and say, "There's something in the water down there in Plymouth because that place is different." You know, we're still a young school, a young company, but I really do believe people are look at some point we'll get there when people start saying, "Hold on a minute, something about that place is different," and it is different because we do it properly. That's the truth. We just do things properly. We do things how they're supposed to be done.
It's also the same with the fans, though. I mean, the fans in Plymouth are very vociferous, very loyal, very vocal, and it's probably one of the best atmospheres in the country for fans.
I love it. A few years ago, long before I had Reach, I remember saying we're in a car ride home. I can't remember who it was. I know Grayson was there and whoever else was there. Like, I remember saying to him, there's certain places that like wrestling cities, you just get a feel for like the wrestling cities. And there was a company called 4FW that runs Swindon. And I think I did a couple of commentary gigs in Swindon. And I just had this feeling like, wow, like this is really a wrestling city. Like, they love their wrestling. And Norwich is very similar. They're very fond of their favorites and they don't like the outsiders. So like, they didn't like me because I talk funny, even though I think they talk funny. But like, so, and Plymouth is another one where you just, as you say, the fans, they're so loyal. If you treat them right, give them a product and give them what they want. Because people say, "Oh, fans don't make the decisions." Well, look, listen, I'm a promoter and I'm telling you they do. You guys will help me make choices because I listen to everything. I'm always paying attention to know what's going on and what people are seeing and reacting to and what they feel. And I'll ask questions at the end of most shows. I'll be outside at the front door, usually at the end of each show. And I just listen to what people are saying as they're walking through the doors. Try to greet everybody, see how everybody's doing. And I want to know what everybody thought. Because if you're all silent all night, if we did that big turn, right? Not to bring it up again, I am sorry. But if we did that big thing with Eddie Ryan, right? You know the moment where I kicked him between the legs, you know the one? Remember that one? Well, that one, right?
I'm sure it's on video as well. So
if something like that happened and Charlie's moment happened and nobody reacted, then I'd have been like, oh, I'm in the wrong game because nobody cares.
Yeah.
Evidence in our understanding, I think, of what people want was, how we were able to build that story. And you got to think that story was built like months before, like the amount. It's like what do they call them? Like those films that give you like little spoilers that you don't realize until you watch it back and you know the end. It's almost like there were little moments, right? Like in Tavistock, when I was saying to Joe Redman, you'd be in a shit or whatever. I'm going to referee the main event of the match. At that point, I was like, yeah, that'll be great. He's a good guy. Like the whole while, I'm like, we know what's coming, right? And Charlie wasn't mentioned anywhere. Like no one had seen Charlie, so it's meticulous planning to really make sure, and everybody has to play their role correctly, because I personally believe in respecting your fans. Don't just treat them like, oh, they're just fans. They're not just fans. They are probably the most important part of your show, because we have to give you something to show you that we care about your investment. And I like that show, All Roads Lead to Go, was a really good example, I felt, of trying to show you like months of planning and effort that we try to put into giving you something so that you can drive home in your car all mad at me or happy, depending on what the deal was. Like, but I want you to go to bed that night in a mood about something like that. Or, if it's a different night and your favorite wins the title, I want you to go home happy, and I want you to work the next day in a good mood because you've waited all that time to see your guy win the belt. That's what we want,
It's no different from a football team. If your football team wins, it can put you in a totally different mood than if they lose. It's the same with wrestlers. If your favourites are doing well, you're a lot happier the next day in work than you are if they've lost.
Yeah, right. You say that. I was a Man United fan growing up for years and years and years and years. Like, as I got older, I don't watch football now because it's not the same as it used to be. Like when I was a bit younger. But the year that Manchester City first won the title, I was at a barbecue at the time girlfriend's house. United had scored and were about to win the title.
Yeah.
And I was in a jolly mood. I was drinking a beer with this is the second time I met a family. I was in a really good mood. Life was grand, right? United are going to win. The sky was shining. And I swear, it's like a black cloud came over me or something. I don't know. And then I walked in the front room. I had this feeling. And Manchester City had scored in like the last, I don't know, whatever it was. That Aguero had scored.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can still hear that call now in my head from the commentator.
Okay.
And like, yeah, why? Dave, I hate cursing. Oh my God. Every time I hear that call, years later, I can't cope. I still hear it now, like nearly 10 years later. Yeah. And it changed my whole mood. I went back out there and she's like, "You all right?" I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." She's like, "What's wrong?" And I forgot I was at my girlfriend's parents' house. I was like stomping around like a bratty kid. And I was like, right. I think I said to her like 20 minutes later, "I'm going home." She's like, "What's wrong? What have I done?" I was like, "I haven't done anything. I'm just not in the mood for this." Like I was honestly, and I want that feeling for you guys, for wrestling. I want you to be mad at me a year later because I kicked Eddie between the legs. Not to remind you, but I did. But I want you to be. I want you to be mad. I want you to be cross with Charlie for doing what he's doing, or happy with Eddie, or Dick. What's he called now? Nicky turning on Bino. We want those moments where you're like, what the, why, like, So that's our job. Is to provide that for you. That's what you're paying for. Is to let go of all your stresses for 2 hours. Come to wrestling. Call me whatever you feel like calling me, or cheer whoever you want to cheer. And for those 2 hours, you got all the power to say within reason, do what you like and enjoy the performance. That's what I want. That's what more than anything.
Reliever as well. If you can scream and shout at people for a couple of hours and then go off home happy, like, or you can just go and been entertained, and you've screamed at somebody and let all the vent up anger of a week at work, like, it's like go to a football match and shouting and calling people twats and that. We could do it to you instead, or PJ or something,
The PJ, yeah, exactly. He's another great example. He's another way. He's easy to want to like give some grief to, and that's you paid for that right. It's different promoters think different things, but again, within reason, I think you paid for the right to, give us what you feel. We've had all sorts. People chuck stuff at us and. You don't want someone to spit at you or try to knife you, but I don't mind within reason what people call me or shout at me or tell me what I look like.
I've mentioned this before, but I always recall back to one of the first CPW shows I went to. You were being wheeled in a wheelchair, and there's this kid throwing bloody toy wrestlers at you.
I remember You know, there was a time Cornwall, man.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love Cornwall. I used to love going down there.
Yeah.
We one time I got thrown out the ring. It was in a handicap match against Vinnie Clay. It was me and Adam Flint, and I was thrown out the ring and I hit the floor a little harder than I expected. I must have been overzealous or something. But I hit the floor. I remember shouting like, "But," you know, I was like, that's really hurting. And I think a kid must have thought I was playing because he come over and just booted me. And I remember thinking, what the hell was that? And I looked over. And I think he said, "You suck," or "Devon sucks," and he's about 6. And I thought, where are your parents? Like, why? Like, how brave are you? Like, he's about like 2 foot tall. He booted me as hard as he could and ran off. But like, even that, I was like, okay, I'm doing my job right because he hates me. You know, like those kind of things is part of the fun. Like, he's had a great time. He's probably gone back to school and told his friends he beat up a wrestler. So, you know, that stuff's great. And that wheelchair, like, I remember very well. I remember that really well.
Bringing the Devon flag.
That's it.
And then put this Cornish flag in the centre of the ring and they just stamp all over it. Like, you know, that was kind of funny. That was, yeah.
The stuff like that, like, is that just the feeling, the energy. Do you remember that night, right? You guys, I think, both been there for sure. It was me and Flint versus Vinnie Clay and that other, I can't remember his name. Don't tell me I had it then. Oh, what's he called? Is it Bob and Joe? What's he called? Is it Oliver Peace?
Oliver Peace, yeah.
We had a tag match that night, and before I came out the curtain, I heard everybody chanting, "F you, Jason," and then everyone else, like the Devon guys, I'm guessing, were chanting Jason King.
Yeah.
I stood behind the curtain and I thought, ooh, I thought, this is going to be good when I go through that curtain. And that night is an example of where I really feel like we're at such a fever pitch of like emotion, right? And there's nothing better in the world than us reacting to how you guys feel. Our job is to put on a performance that warrants that level of investment, which I think we did. I got smacked by an oak guitar, right?
Yeah.
You know, a little spoiler here, we rig our guitars. That one wasn't rigged. He hit me on the head. I was like, if you ever get a chance to watch that clip back, oh my God. He leaves and goes, "They're shouting for one more." And I politely said, "Absolutely not." Like, because he hit me so hard, I swear to you. I wasn't knocked out. It's like heavy oak guitar. Man, but you know what? Like, in that match, I guess the adrenaline got me through because of the fan investment. So, but that stuff happens. That's like that stuff happens. That's
it was probably the most genuinely nearest I've been to a football match in my whole life, because you had the Devon fans on one side, you had the Cornish fans on the other 3 sides, basically, and they were shouting "Devon sucks," and we were just saying "Cornwall sucks," and it was heated at one point. I think, you know.
I love that. Like, how does that feel for you guys when you're in something like that? How do you feel?
That's great. It's absolutely great. You know, any chance to shout "Cornwall sucks" is always a bonus for us. Well, for me, anyway. Kirsty's too nice for that. But
you're not from Kirsty. Where are you actually initially from? Was it up country?
No, I'm from Devon.
Are you?
You wouldn't think so with that posh voice, would you?
No, I would not.
I was
on that attitude. So I thought you said I'm sure you told me before you lived up country, or you were up country.
No, we just went there a lot for wrestling when I first started getting into it. I used to go up to Newcastle all the time for the wrestling.
That's commitment. That's very committed.
On a bus.
Yeah,
on
the
a bus.
coach.
That's commitment. Very good.
I did it once, nearly killed me.
And then we came.
Yeah, that's right.
Newcastle on the Saturday.
We went to
Reach
Newcastle
on the Sunday.
for North, and then we came down and went to Reach on the Sunday.
That was the last Reach, yeah.
And I fell asleep in KFC before the show.
I like that. See, like you guys like have a schedule like we have, because if you want to see the shows, like when we perform on them, you've got to do that travel too. I forget that sometimes.
It's easy for us. We're not getting hit by guitars or anything like that, so you know it's easy.
There is that.
To myself, it's knackering for us just going and watching it. I can't sort of fathom what it'd be like for you guys having to actually wrestle. It's tiring for us to show up.
If again, that's why I think as a performer you want that. What you said to me earlier about working elsewhere and stuff, which I if there's an investment and I know that it's going to be good, it's worth it because you get adrenaline, right? You're excited, your adrenaline's going, you're thinking, oh, I can't wait to get up there and do this and do that. But other times, you do get somewhere and you think, oh, I need a nap before I go out there tonight. It's just that's life. That's the way it is.
Just one quick question now, Jason. We said earlier that Southwest is a hotbed of wrestling, but it's not normally seen by anybody outside of the Southwest. But Nick Riley and Charlie Sterling have been tagged up to go to Progress. Is that going to affect Reach in any way, or you can still have those guys down here to wrestle for you?
Well, unless they tell me they got sort of like no complete clause or something from Progress, which I don't think they can get. I didn't think. No, I spoke to both, Charlie less than a week ago, and Nikki I spoke to 2 weeks ago. They told Nikki said he was doing Progress. I said, well done, good luck, like God bless, like have fun, like But no, they shouldn't affect them being here. The only way I think people get affected is if they get a WWE contract, because I think what happens to the men is, I believe, they'll get to I mean, the WWE might not be at this point yet, but they're probably gonna get to a point where the WWE starts saying, okay, you can't wrestle for anybody else. The reason is because WWE are gonna say you're part of WWE again, like Reach is our brand, right? WWE wants you to only be able to see the WWE stars in the WWE. They like WWE will not give a foot up, not an inch to anybody, unless your competition, in which case they kind of like it because it's like it gets them. But they're not going to give, for example, Reach an inch. They're not ever going to say, "Oh, that local company runs Plymouth. We'll stay out of there." They couldn't give a monkeys. Like they don't care. Like that's the WWE, and that's why Vince McMahon is a bloody billionaire through wrestling and everything. Until somebody tells me, yeah, I can't wrestle for you anymore because I've got this or that obligation or whatever. But I've spoken to Charlie and he's told me he intends to prioritize what he does at Reach. So he's our champion, so he'll still be here. Millie is a bit different. The last conversation I had with her, she believes she can still wrestle for us. So I know there was a big concern regarding whether she could stay and still wrestle for Reach, or if she was only going to WWE. The last conversation I had with her was that she still believes she can compete for us. And work for us, and if not, it's like anything. If not, then we'll work around it and do whatever needs to be done. We're an organization of people, and we've got a whole school of talent.
Yeah. And as people move on to further their career and go on to bigger companies, there's all the opportunities are coming up for the people below, aren't there as well? So it's a double-edged sword, really, isn't it? You've got a good opportunity for your academy guys.
Yeah, like the wheel is always turning, right? And what is hot today may not be hot tomorrow, and if all these people on top all get whatever, I don't know, WWE offers them anymore. I don't pay attention, but whatever it is that they get from the WWE, that good. I say firstly, good. God bless. Go and have a whale of a time. Hopefully, make a load of money if that's your goal, and become a mega star. Whatever it is your goal is, go and have fun and go and achieve it. But when the wheel starts to turn and they all leave, somebody else has to be on top. Yeah. And our job, like my job as a promoter and Grayson's job as a promoter and Eddie as well as a coach, is to bring through fresh new talent constantly to keep Reach going. It's not to keep the WWE. I don't give a monkeys about WWE. I don't care. Or anybody else, Progress or anybody. Not because I dislike them, not because I've got anything against them, but primarily my goal is to build this brand. So if it gets in the way of somebody else, then I absolutely will say to one of my talent, okay, I'd rather you did this for us. But then I would always obviously say to them, they'll usually, because I don't have any problems with anybody. I've never had a fallout with anybody about anything when we're booking talent. So I'll always say, what is it? And we've given guys that we've booked leave to go somewhere else to make more money. I won't, as personal, I'll tell you who, but we've done that a couple of times where we've said to people, we've given people pay rises that they haven't asked for. We're not like we're so encouraging at whatever it is you're looking for, whatever your goal is, go get it. We'll never stand in the way of being the one. If somebody said, my ultimate goal is to wrestle in Wales, where I was born, and there's a show in Wales that wants me that day, but you've booked me, I'd say, don't worry about it. I'll work around you. Go and fulfill your goal. Go have fun in Wales. Unless, of course, they were like the heavyweight champion, and we built a story for like 2 whole years, and like this was a big show, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't fancy it tonight. I want to go somewhere else." Then I'd be having a different conversation. But for the most part, we'll always say to people, "Go where you want to be."
Yeah.
I don't. Do you know what I mean? Because like you guys know, right? If you don't want to be somewhere, you go there and you're like, "I'll be here again." But if you want to be somewhere, then you're a proper outfit, right? Proper height. and that's life. And recognizing that is common sense. So nobody's come to me yet in the entire time I've run Reach and told me they can't work for us anymore. Nobody's ever said they can't be part of what we do. They're pretty deadly lads. I haven't spoke to them. I spoke to one of them 2-3 weeks ago, but I thought about contacting them again, seeing about getting them in. They've done bloody well, haven't they? Like, I remember.
So yeah.
They're good lads, they are. But we had a good funny match, really. Me and Nikki had a match with them, and I remember saying to them afterwards, I said, "Oh yeah, we use you guys again," and they sort of told me like it will depend on what they knew they had coming at the time, and they said like we'll let you know, and I still, like I say, kept in touch with one of them, and when like it's anything like that, if you can't do the date or you have to go or you get your contract or whatever the deal is, like Joe Redmond goes to Japan sometimes, so as long as our dates don't conflict with Japan, then he's good as gold. And it's like anything, if you've got a different obligation, we'll just say, okay, let's try to work around you if we can, and if we can't, that's life. That's life.
Yeah, but the joys of a wrestling promoter, it's a lot of coordinating to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot goes on behind the scenes that people that would bore you to death.
A lot of fans don't realise, isn't there?
Yeah, like to make the product what it is, there's so much goes on, and honestly, it's quite boring. Like, I won't bother telling you because you will literally fall asleep. But there's so much goes on that I think the end product, that like end almost 10% for 90% of the work that goes on it's just a weird thing. But I guess if you love something, then that's sort of the effort you put in.
So, yeah. Anyway, on that note, Jason, we've taken that far too much of your time already, and it's but I've really enjoyed this. It was fantastic. You know, as always, it's always a pleasure to chat to you. And
yeah, you guys too. I enjoy what you're doing. I watched one of your episodes the other day with Lucian. I really like that you guys are doing this. I'm not going to rant one more time, but I do really like what you're doing. I think you're doing a good job because you're very relaxed. I always feel very relaxed when I talk to you guys. I think it's really nice.
No, thank you. We enjoyed talking to you as well. I mean, you were the first guy we interviewed, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made it so easy because you got a way you can talk, and you know, we just ask a few questions and you can talk, and you know, you put everybody at ease. And
I don't shut up.
That was a polite way of saying it.
You've got a good voice. That way.
Oh, that's kind. Dave, you were much nicer than Kirsty, so thanks.
How did your interview with Jason go? And I was like, I've got 2 hours of audio.
And he wasn't surprised at that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just when we start talking about something I love, I get.
Yeah, it's rather have that than somebody who don't want us to talk or won't say too much. It's rather have too much to talk about than not enough, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good. Thank you. That's good. Good news. You know what to expect if you interview me now, because you know you know you got to set aside like a bit extra time.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Jason. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to seeing you and all the all the Reach guys in July.
Oh, thank you, guys. God bless you. Thank you for having me. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
I know. Thank you, Jason. Take care.